Hey everyone, this is kind of a weird video I'm making. I'm going to talk about the DivineZ anime, but I'm also going to talk about other stuff, so maybe it's not that weird. But yeah, you might be going, wow, Kai, that's not right. You know, the meme is supposed to be you don't watch the anime, and everyone's trying to make you watch the anime. And I will say that I do watch anime, just not as much as I do before, right? Like, I mainly read, because I'm an intellectual. Yeah, I like reading. Actually, it's just, I read more because I can read, like, quicker than just sitting there watching 30 minutes. Of course, I can, like, watch it in 2x speed, but I'm pretty sure people will get mad if they find out. So, yeah, let's just go with it, right? So, I did watch the first episode of DivineZ. I watched it just then, so it's, like, still fresh in my mind. But to be honest, I did watch it also at the live stream, so that 5-hour one. Is it the 5-hour one, or was it the one before? So, I did watch that one, and it was pretty much the same as the one they it was literally the whole episode. It was all of episode 1. So you could say I watched the anime twice already. So that might be more than some other people, like, different. I don't know. Did you watch the live stream one? If you didn't, then hey man, better keep up. But yeah, it was pretty good. Like, it was pretty good. Overall, I think the characters are quite likable, and it's already kind of set the world up. You already know, like, all the main players, and they're all pretty nice, right? They're all pretty cool. There's the main character, I'm gonna have to say, not hating you or anything, but I feel like just it confirms the main character is already better. Like, I'm just sorry to say. There's a nice sister, right? There's like actually a goal for him now. There's something, you know, like from the first episode, that you know what this anime is about, or like what they're trying to do. Yeah. Lelouch character was funny, of course. You know, it's actually not that crazy that he's like a flying hippo. Let's put it that way. You know, Fukuyama-jun has done pretty weird characters before, so this is just adding to the repertoire. Of course, you know, like everything, right? Episode 1, very surface based. Like we know the motivations so far from the main character, and obviously there will be more later on, you know, more plot twists maybe. Maybe someone's actually like super evil, etc, etc, or, you know, the flying hippo is not what it is. So overall, that's pretty much what I'm gonna say, right? Not really gonna spoil much, but at the same time, what is there to spoil? It's just the first episode. Go watch it. I feel like the quality is very good. Like, the animation quality is very nice, and there's a lot to work with from there. So big props for the for just the entire anime staff, right? But that's not really what I'm just going to talk about today, and I'm just pretty much going to say, like, the anime is probably one of the most important things about Vanguard, and is going to grow in importance as time goes on. And why is that, right? Why is the anime one of the most important things in Vanguard? Isn't it supposed to be the card game? Yeah? Why not just make the card game the most important? Well, the thing is, the anime itself, right, does attract a lot of people into the game, and I think we always look at things in the past like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, where it is like this anime that brings people in to other parts of the game, and I think that is very, very important, and something that I feel like Vanguard has been kind of lacking for a while. And well, I'm just gonna kind of go on a quick tangent here, right? If we look at the big 3 card games right now, which is Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, what do they have in common? Yep. And you can pause the video here just to think about it. So just pause it now. But the one thing they have in common is that they were all kind of created around the same time, right? I think they were created around like 1996 or 1997. So they literally have like 26 years of history behind it, which is why it makes it really, really strong. And a lot of that just comes from its IP. Now let's kind of talk about One Piece as well. Why is One Piece so strong? It's a new card game, right? So it's the rise in popularity, the money of the prize cards, why is it so high? Again, 26 years. One Piece was created pretty much the same time as those others IP that we're talking about right now. The big 3. So when you look at the history it has behind it, all the nostalgia and all that went into the Charizards, into the Dark Magicians, into Black Lotus, I guess. That also gets kind of translated to One Piece, because they're remembering, oh, Luffy. Cooler looking Luffy. As you can see, I haven't watched One Piece or read One Piece much at all. because kind of hard to get in. But it has this history of a strong IP behind it, which is why even though One Piece does give pretty much like non-monetary prizes to its competitors, which is similar to like things like Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh, the prices behind the prizes, right? It's really high. It's really high because it has that huge IP behind it, right? Vanguard really doesn't have that, like, anything like that. We don't have 26 years of history, or like, you know, we weren't the first to be in the market. Like, one of the big things why Yu-Gi-Oh is so massive right now is because it's pretty much like the first card game anime in the market, right? Back then, what other stuff was it? Was there a Magic the Gathering card game anime? Actually, there was, but that came after Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Was there a Pokemon TCG card? No, there wasn't. It was just Pokemon. So Yu-Gi-Oh was like the first, and if you look at its IP and where everything is associated with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's pretty much around the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So when we reminisce about the good old days about Yu-Gi-Oh, it was OG Yu-Gi-Oh, where the rules didn't make sense. Then we have Yu-Gi-Oh GX to a certain extent. That is probably like the least powerful of like the powerful Yu-Gi-Oh series, right? Because I rate pretty much the OG, where it's just Yugi and all that, those characters. And then GX is probably the weaker one. And then 5Ds is when it kind of resurged. And then everyone was like, oh, 5D, so Yu-Gi-Oh's so cool again. Yes. And then you kind of go back and go, wow, Cyber Dragon, also very cool. Right? So I think you have those three being the main, how do you say it? The main lifters, the carriers of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. And then basically after that, no one cares. Right? You, like, Pendulum. I know maybe one person cares about Pendulum, but yeah. After that, no one really cares about the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, and everything is just centered around that the nostalgia, right, or the OG, because they were the strongest, they were the first, they pretty much set the entire stage, right? So unfortunately, Vanguard really doesn't have that, where, you know, we're the first in everything, or like, you know, we just have 26 years. We don't have that. We don't have that yet, right? And we did kind of, I feel like we did kind of screw ourselves a bit over, where we had, you know, the OG series, and, you know, a lot of people do reminisce about the OG series, but we haven't reached that point where it's like super nostalgia yet. And they kind of went back to like a reboot, which, I don't know, it feels like it kind of undermined the OG series in bits, because like it's just rebooting and kind of rewriting the OG. But why? Because the OG series was fine. And then we went to Overdress, which is like, I feel like Overdress did well in certain ways, but didn't do well in other ways, right? In terms of gathering an audience, it definitely did gather an audience, but was it an audience that would last? And I think the answer is, it was more of a short-term audience. And you might think, that's kind of weird, Kai. Why is it a short-term audience? Because let's think about why, like, Pokemon, for example, is so strong. Is that not only is it targeting, you know, an old market, which grew up, which is what happened with Vanguard, it is continually targeting, like, the younger generation, so that when they grow up, you basically have even, like, the next 26 years of, like, history as well, right? They're currently, like, what, 8-year-old kids playing Pokemon. They're gonna grow up. In 26 years' time, they're gonna be 34. They might still be playing Pokemon, or they'll be at an age where they know about Pokemon, and they'll be teaching their kids, or other kids, like, how good Pokemon is, right? So they're getting to that generational kind of thing. Yu-Gi-Oh has a problem where, you know, it's hard getting kids in, because reading, like, 20 lines of text is pretty difficult, and there's, like, nothing really cool that's, like, boosting, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh at the moment, right? In terms of the younger generation. For the older ones, it's definitely fine. They get a lot of people playing. And then Magic the Gathering, I guess Magic the Gathering, it's kind of its own thing. It's the first card game. It's, like, basically the first main, like, TCG, right? So there's a lot going on, and Commander's, like, everyone's favorite game. So in terms of that, that's going really well. But for Vanguard, right, what happened with Wildress? Well, I feel like, or Overdress, Wildress, it felt like it targeted all of the OG Vanguard players, but we're old, right? Well, not me, but I think a lot of players who play Vanguard are pretty old or have grown up. There was that survey that they did where most Vanguard players are in their mid-20s. So that's fine, right? That's fine. Mid-20 people have money, yeah? And you know what's good about money? They can spend it on card games and, you know, fund, like, more development and all that. But does that make you last for the next generations? I don't think so, right? I think so. At some point, people will grow up and go, okay, I need to get a job. I need to get married. I need to do life, right? Card games suddenly become less important. So if you don't really invest in the future, I feel like you'll die off. And I don't know what DivineZ will be like. I feel like just the anime itself is better. But I do see how they're like investing into things like the Korokoro comics, that Vanguard Skyrider, I think, for just if it's like targeted more towards kids. So I think that's in a good space. In terms of like the anime, I think DivineZ will be fine. I'm like not sure on like if the the 12 episode season plus break the next season is the best way to proceed. It definitely is good for like the older people who are like currently the mid-20s, right? The generation that is grew up with Vanguard and now is old. It's definitely good for them because it means that 12 episodes, pretty easy to consume. You have a break, so if you missed any, you can consume there. You can watch it there. But I feel like for kids, right? This might sound kind of evil, but I feel like for kids, the Saturday morning cartoons where you just blast them every week with content. It doesn't even have to be high quality content. It can just be like, it could be like the lowest quality content. But as long as they're constantly exposed to it for like X years, they will just grow up with that and like continue watching and go, oh man, this is like the best thing, right? For example, Yu-Gi-Oh! OG Vanguard. I think just blasting it might be like the best way to keep kids entertained, and then they'll eventually grow up and do things. But yeah, no, if you look at what like the older generation likes, they definitely like quality, right? The 12 episode quality content over the 260 episode low quality content, but hey, it's a card reveal, let's go, right? And I think I did pay attention to the stream numbers from when like I think it was like it was the big Vanguard reveal in December, right? So during that time when the anime was being discussed, I feel like the stream numbers for the official stream was like higher, and then after they started talking about the TCG, it like dropped. So there's definitely people who just watch the anime. Like they're literally just there for the anime. They don't really care about the TCG anymore. And having a quality product like that is great. Because it just keeps people in the Vanguard sphere, right? And eventually some of them will go, oh, I've got some time. There's like some new decks coming out. Maybe I'll just buy that. Or wow, this is the hottest character in existence. I have to buy that product. So as long as it's kept in their sphere, in the Vanguard sphere, they'll eventually get people in. But yeah, no, this is literally why I feel like the Vanguard anime is really important. It's good to see it getting back on its original track. It's kind of weird coming from me, right? I don't think you guys would have expected me to talk about the Vanguard anime and like praise it or talk about how important it is, but it actually is, right? Like here, it's not all just about meta decks and the top tier standard decks in existence or whatever. Without the game, there's no point in being competitive in it, right? So all kind of fandoms do matter. So yeah, it's very important. So that's literally just it for me. I kind of ranted a bit about the anime and why it's important to kind of how important it is, right? On the importance of the anime. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. There'll be more anime coming up. I'm pretty interested. I'm pretty sure when I go to Japan, Different Fight will force me to watch even more anime. I think I land on the day that the 3rd episode comes out. So you literally watch it like just on the day, right? But we'll see. So yeah, that's it. See you all. All right, bye.